We're racing, and John Boyd definitely got a clear lead because Wesley Orr, I think, has made sure he's staying out of trouble. Ricardo Romkemer goes through into second place. Wesley Orr in fourth place, just moving through into... ooh, drivers onto the circuit, off the circuit onto the grass, but everybody rejoins. But I'm afraid a couple of drivers from the middle order will be well out of the reckoning from here on. The opening lap, and already looking... well, I'm used to seeing drivers look over the shoulders sort of three-quarters of the way through a race. We're not three-quarters of the way through the first lap and John Boyd's looking over his shoulder. Tell you what, John, you may have a few kart lengths lead at the moment, and indeed you have, but Ricardo Romkemer's going to be chasing after you. Wesley Orr's going to be chasing after you. There's several good drivers. Nick De Zutter, Mike Hewson's making forward progress. Mike Hewson's the dark horse of this race for me. However, the first two have got a clear lead, and in fact the first three. Just coming off the final bend for the first time of 17 is the Flying Scotsman, John Boyd. Then we have Ricardo Romkemer in second place. Third is Wesley Orr. Mike Hewson's already up to fourth place. Watch him in kart number 270. He's had a bad meeting by his standards, but he's certainly come stronger late on. Well, those first three drivers have gained a considerable advantage from the touching after turn one, because John Boyd's lead over the field was 0.8 of a second after just one lap. But this is kart racing, a lot can happen. John Boyd turning into the... oh, and that's kart number 225, which is Patrick Pearce of England. Patrick Pearce, who was the National Schools Karting Association champion, and just looking a little bit uncomfortable. 243 also out is David van Rijkelen of Belgium. David van Rijkelen of Belgium also out. So Patrick Pearce and David van Rijkelen, I'm afraid, are not going to feature strongly in this particular one. Well, the race leaders come round to the start-finish line once again, so 2 laps are now completed, and John Boyd leads the field over Ricardo Romkemer and Wesley Orr. Somebody once thought I was saying something from an old American, well, was it a hillbilly or a cowboy family? John Boy, somebody in, can't just remember what the series was. I promise you his name is John Boyd with a D. You see on our caption the D. The Waltons it was, it's just come back to me. The Waltons, that's courtesy of Bert Davis, who used to watch a lot of these things before he got into television. So, John Boyd, not a Walton, but a kart racer. Oh, and another driver in trouble. Oh no, it's Patrick Pearce, just got out of the machine for the first time. For Patrick Pearce fans, Wesley Orr looks over his shoulder. Patrick Pearce fans, disappointment, but I promise you he's completely uninjured. We're looking at Wesley Orr now, that tiger-type helmet, isn't it? Gets his head down. Very big lad, Wesley Orr. And since his work for CRG Italy, had to do a strong fitness regime. John Boyd a lot smaller. Now, just look there on our television screen. John Boyd didn't duck his head down against the wind resistance, but Ricardo Romkemer did, Wesley Orr did, Mike Hewson's did. I think John Boyd... excuse me a moment. I think that John Boyd was... a little bit shorter when I spoke with him, if I'm thinking about it. John Boyd is a bit smaller than Ricardo Romkemer, Wesley Orr and Mike Hewson's, but even so, I'd have thought he'd have dipped his head a little bit. Most of the drivers at the front of the field, when they're not close to another driver, feel that that's an advantage to do so. Just taking my eyes off the screen and looking at the back of the field, one of the drivers who was in trouble early on, kart number 243, has got going again. Kart 243, David van Rijkelen, very sporting to rejoin the race, but I'm afraid the Belgian is not going to be able to make a meaningful challenge for the lead, or indeed for the podium places. 270 is Mike Hewson's. He can make a meaningful challenge, most certainly, and Patrick Westerhoff and Toms Bobrovskis were having a dicing shot moments ago. In fact, I think Toms has been relegated. There is Mike Hewson's getting his head down. Behind him, 207, Toms Bobrovskis. Our captions just showing once again the first 9 drivers. Good to see Christian van Baarle into the top 10. Damien Viome, who is 7th, he won the round in Lonato. None of us had heard from him in the Euro Challenge. He went to his first meeting and won it. Not been able to repeat. Oh, and look at Ben Cooper up into 14th place, having started in 35th place. Ben Cooper in kart 337. And kart number 230 comes in and out of the race. That's Marlon Stockinger. So very unlucky that the boy from the Philippines, his dad Tom and his mum Edgin are here to support him. But I'm afraid Marlon's race is run. And, well, it's not your day, Marlon. Marlon here to learn racing craft and racing experience, but not been his day today. There's Wesley Orr in shot, trailing this man, which is John Boyd, the Flying Scotsman. Behind him, Well, I better not say the Flying Dutchman, or else I'm obliged to call Wesley Orr the Flying South African, aren't I? But do you understand it? Oh, a nice move there. That was cart number 309, Damien Viome, going past David Griffiths, I do believe. Damien Viome there, cart 309. I said moments ago, he hadn't been in the Euro Challenge at all. Then he turned up at Italy. Wasn't in his native France at Salbris, but he turned up at Italy and won the meeting. Amazing. Senel America from Holland, he won the meeting in Salbris, but has never featured since and not even come to this meeting. 302 is that. Cart number 302 is our lady driver, I.E. Miura. Well, I.E. Miura I thought was out, so it can't be. No, it's 312. Ah, yes, of course it is. 312 is Bert Arden in the same colours as I.E. Bert Arden from Belgium, running in 16th place. He started way at the back, so a good drive by Bert Arden. The race leaders coming round to complete lap 6. Oh, and a driving standards flag being shown. Let me see if I can identify the number for you. Not always able to see them. I think that it might be 337. If it is 337, that's Ben Cooper. So Ben on his charge through from the back, and Ben is well to the fore now, up into 13th place. On our caption on the television screen, Chris Malipard is shown in 12th place. I rather think that Ben Cooper is in 13th place momentarily, and well, say momentarily, he may stay there, but the inference was that he would be making further forward progress. That's Mike Dewson's in shot. He's just in front of the Latvian Express, Toms Bobrovskis. I've said before today, Tom's very tall. As you see, his hunched shoulders. Not that Mike Dewson's is particularly small, but he's definitely nowhere nearly as tall as Toms Bobrovskis. So Toms Bobrovskis there, having to put this 6 feet of the Latvian Express into the cart. Not always so easily done. Mike Dewson's cart number 270, but Mike not in a podium position at the moment, because in front of him in 3rd place is Wesley Orr, that man. Oh, and Wesley made a mistake there, didn't he? Wesley moved into the turn, the right-hander, and suddenly changed direction. So a little bit of a, well, it may have been a deliberate avoiding action. Just in front of Wesley, it's Ricardo Romkemer. There he is, cart number 213. Nice smooth driving style by Ricardo Romkemer, and he looks over his right shoulder. Wesley Orr's there, Ricardo. But the guy in front, John Boyd, I have to be honest with you and say that I was disappointed that when John Boyd walked out of the Park Ferme at Eindhoven to disqualify himself on the only other Rotax Euro Challenge round he's been to, that he'd done that, because I think that John Boyd was well capable of making a strong challenge. He's proving it now, isn't he? There he is, cart number 340. His lead over the field, 0.693 over Ricardo Romkemer, and 0.336 behind Ricardo is Wesley Orr. Here they come to complete the 8th lap of 17. So we're approaching the half race distance. Oh, and an attack on Mike Dewson's by Toms Bobrovskis, and he goes past. Toms Bobrovskis, well, I tell you, he caught, oh, and Mike fights back, and Toms Bobrovskis goes out of the race. Well, doesn't go out of the race because he's fighting hard to get back into the race. He's facing the wrong way at the moment. Oh, that was a shame to see, because we like to see good spirited racing, but well, what does your neutral commentator say? Shall we say we like to see spirited racing, but the spirits got themselves a little bit excited there, didn't they? Toms Bobrovskis, who was running 5th, moved to 4th, but now he's going to drop off my leaderboard completely. Very, very unfortunate situation there. In the meantime, Ricardo Romkemer is in shot, and he's trailing the Flying Scotsman John Boyd. John Boyd completes his 9th lap, and John Boyd increases his lead in oh, and Wesley Orr trying to have a move past Ricardo Romkemer. Well, now you see, this is to John Boyd's advantage, because Ricardo Romkemer can't concentrate on chasing after Boyd. He's got to concentrate on keeping the Rotax 2-times world champion Wesley Orr behind him.